Welcome to this week's edition of the Don't Argue. And the king of the Don't Argue is Kurt Gidley, of course, former Newcastle Knight, 251 games for the Newcastle Knights. That is a huge effort. Back in the halcyon days, too. Big Chief Harrigan running around and big, of course. Hey, mate, seriously, I tried to get a Newcastle Knight Guernsey over in Bali, and they were all sold out. You could not buy one anywhere.
Sold out. They might have discontinued the jersey, mate, over there. But yeah, Matty, awesome to see the boys get up, which is a big relief for the players. But it was one of the most turbulent weeks I've seen in recent times for the Newcastle Knights. Unfortunately, the footy club, a heap of different speculation and controversy around Dave Clemmer being stood down for the week. Refused to come off the week before, and I know his passion that he'd probably like to stay on the field and lead by example. But when you're tapped on the shoulder and you're asked to come off by the head trainer, Hayden Knowles, then you've probably got to come. So, he served his punishment. The club have come under a lot of scrutiny from the culture and character point of view. But thankfully, the players, they dug deep, they found something, and they played with some real intent in that first half, which was great to see.
Good to see. And as I said to you, mate, off air, just if they can finish the season on a bit of a high, it gives them something to build on for 2023, doesn't it?
Oh, I think they're just finishing on some sort of high for the fans. We've got some bloody loyal fans, certainly at Newcastle, that's for sure. They keep turning up in, 16, 18, 20,000 at McDonald Jones Stadium. But, all NRL fans, look at the West Tigers and the Titans at the moment. There's some rock solid fans, mate, who keep turning up to our teams who unfortunately haven't achieved the goals they set out to.
It's in a healthy position, the NRL, for mine. Peter Volandis and the crew, for all their knockers. I reckon they've done an absolute sensational job, and it's a full credit to them. And we've still got a fair bit to play in season 2022. It is going to be sensational. The Roosters hitting their stride too against the Broncos, kids. They're just starting to look the goods, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but they always seem to get through that origin period because they're always a pretty high performing team and a club that has a lot of rep players through that obviously international rep round, and then obviously Queensland and New South Wales. So I think once they get that through that period of being a little bit disjointed, that they really start to focus on this next run after Origin and into semis, and looks like they're starting to hit their straps now. Tedesco still flying, and an awesome leader for those guys, and a pretty convincing win against the Broncos, really, who are been playing some good footy.
Absolutely, and the team that we've discussed at length right throughout season 2022 is the Parramatta Eels, and they tore Manly apart effectively at a sold-out stadium at 4 Points Park too, mate, which is just awesome to see. But Parramatta's best is unbelievable, isn't it, kids? And it's good enough to win a flag and win a premiership.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of inconsistency, and I think when there's a little chink in their armour, that the wheels start to fall off a bit. There was a little bit of controversy there and speculation, I suppose, around Brad Arthur and his future there, and there potentially was no truth to that at all. But again, it can destabilise your club, and I think for the Eels, they just need a decent run into the semis to build some belief and build some confidence. Because as we've seen over the years, they start the year well, and they have some real consistency and belief in their team. But anytime there's a little bit of uncertainty, the wheels start to wobble a bit. So it'll be interesting to watch them over the next 4 weeks.
I've got a little soft spot for the Eels. I don't mind them. Hey, Penrith really broke the hearts, didn't they, of the Canberra Raiders, who had been in pretty good nick the last 4 or 5 weeks, kids. But they just bounced back in a big way, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, mate. Look, again, they come in with a bit of pressure on this time. Obviously, Nathan Cleary is out for a number of weeks with that pretty nasty spear tackle, and Jerome Luai is out with an injury at the moment. So, can they still perform without their 2 starting halves and 2 Origin players? Well, yes, they can.
Yeah,
yeah. And we spoke about that last week, how well they did perform during the Origin period. They were the only club to not drop a game during that Origin and international period. So, that obviously is a great reflection on their coaching staff and Ivan Cleary, and also the depth they've got in the club.
Now, another top that you couldn't get in Bali was the Cowboys. These are walking at the door because they are in sensational nick, and they're just continuing to build into the season, aren't they, Gids?
Didn't come back with the big novelty Cowboys hat, mate. Didn't make it through customs.
No chance whatsoever, mate. No Brokeback Mountain here, Gids.
Hey, mate, the tan's looking good too. You've come up with, glowing.
I reckon even the teeth look like they got a bit wider or something, mate. But
yeah.
I haven't gone to
you get the whitening done.
I think it's just the tan's bringing the white out in the teeth, mate. The old nose, the old beat, mate. Have a look at it. She's absolutely, it's copped an absolute pace.
Dusted.
The old mud guard up here, big fella. She's
the old receding.
It's going further and further inboard.
Let's get back to the Cowboys. I mean, they've really been one of the unexpected teams in the top four. If we were, judging them on the start of the season now, I don't think any of us sort of kept them in that top four position. But look, they've been one of the most consistent teams of the year, and been one of the most surprising attacking teams. I think so. They're still powering on, which is great to see. Another alternate team in that top four.
Yeah, and another side that, and I know I keep banging on about it, but you were keen as mustard on. The Sharks continued on their merry way against the Dragons and nearly have put the old stake to the heart of the Dragons, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. I was just looking at the table there, and I put the red pen through the Dragons there a number of weeks ago, Matty, which was somewhat unplanned, but I think that's the nail in the coffin for the Dragons. It was still a pretty tough game. There's only a try in it towards the back end of the game. Tarek Sims played his last game for the Dragons by the looks of it there with his suspension. So, but yeah, Sharks again really consistent. Obviously, really enjoying the style of footy that Craig Fitzgibbon has brought to the club, and going to be a real exciting team in the semis.
Now, the Palmerbet boys have set and featured a market for the top four, which we've been discussing over the last couple of weeks. So the Panthers and the Cowboys, they've been scratched out. They've got your red highlighter and marker.
Well, they're circle. They're not scratched.
They are absolutely
can't touch them.
Monties to get in there, right? So the Sharks are currently third on 30 points. They're at $1.05. So you think those odds there are locked. The Storm are fourth. They're currently on 28 points. They're at $1.90. So they've tightened up a little bit from last week. Eels are fifth. They're on 28 points as well. They're on $3.25. The Rabbits are sixth on 26 points. They're at $6. Broncos seventh on 26 points at $6 as well. Any value there, Gids, or do you think Sharks and Storm will get the lock done?
Well, yeah, I think I don't know, mate. The Storm. I'm just looking at the Storm's last three games: Panthers, Broncos,
Roosters, mate.
They're all tough games. So $1.90. That's probably a bit short, I reckon. For they haven't been playing the most consistent footy. So they're three tough games for the Storms. If I looked at who were the best value there, I think the Eels. They're $3.25, and they're playing all three teams below them. But
so they got the Rabbits, the Bulldogs, and the Broncos, the Eels. So honestly, equal points with the Storm. $3.25. That's the juice, isn't it?
Good value there. As I say, all those three teams that they're playing in the last three rounds are lower than them. But as we've sort of discussed during the year, that the Eels can get up, mate, for the big games, and they've beaten, I think, Panthers twice this year, and they sometimes struggle against teams below them when they're short favourites to win. So, but I think they're the best odds.
Now, Gids,
they are smoky.
This could be the last time that I possibly ask you this to put a line through it, because we really only got one more choice to make here. You put a line through the Titans, the Tigers, the Warriors, the Knights, which hurt you, big fella, the Bulldogs. The Dragons went about 6 weeks ago, let's be honest. The Sea Eagles last week. We got the Roosters, the Raiders, really, and the Broncos teetering. Which way you going, mate? Are you going to make the call on the Raiders here?
Well, it's an interesting last few rounds, isn't it? I mean, the Raiders, they've got some decent games that are winnable if they play well. They got the Dragons, the Knights, and the Eagles. But also, the the Roosters are only 2 points ahead. The Roosters have got Cowboys, Tigers, Storm. So an interesting few weeks ahead. If I've got to put a line through,
putting one through
if
this
I've got to
week,
get a
you
line
want to
through,
sit on it for another week. I'll let you. I don't know whether the Palmer boys will be happy.
I did. I just said, give me another week. Give me one more week. Because you know why? You know why, Matty? I reckon there can be some movement just in 1 week. Just in 1 week. You know, the Raiders have got a real opportunity to get up against the Dragons. The Dragons are possibly going to be a bit flat after, you know, I think the nails in the coffin for them there. And as I say, they've lost Tarek Sims for the remainder of the year. And I just think there could be just a little bit more movement in one more week. So I think let's just sit on this week, mate.
I'm just gonna ring the boys.
We'll see what unfolds.
I'm gonna ring the boys at Palmer Bet, mate, and just make sure that they're happy with this. So just make sure they're happy for you to sit on the fence. No, I'm happy for you. I'm happy, mate.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why I'm happy, because you did call the Dragons early, so I reckon you've got a little bit of credit in the bank.
And Matty, you know why? I reckon, and we'll get to this game a bit later, but game of the round, Roosters and Cowboys, that will be an interesting one if the Cowboys can get up.
Yeah, 100%.
But we'll get to that.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at this weekend's round of action. All thanks to Palmer Bet, of course. Gamble responsibly. That is the key message. But Thursday night footy, I love it. And this is going to be massive. Panthers taking on the Storm at Panthers Stadium. Head-to-head, Panthers $1.53. Storm at $2.52. They're the value for mine. At the line, the Panthers -5.5 at $1.90. Now, key stats. Panthers won their round 10 clash 32-6. They smashed the Storm. Panthers have won 3 of their last 4 clashes against the Storm. All right, kids. And Cam Munster was back to his best, of course, last week with 3 tries. Come on, Gids, which way you going? I'm on the Storm here, mate. Big Craig Bellamy in the board.
Of course you are, mate.
Fire up, big fella.
Look, they had a pretty tough sort of 5 weeks there. 1, 2, 3, 4 they lost in a row. They've won the last couple, and they do normally, again, after a challenging sort of rep footy period, they normally start to focus and really hone in on what the semis looks like for them. So big game. I'm still going to be on the Panthers here, minus the start, 5.5 start, $1.90.
Yeah, righto. Beautiful, mate. I love it. Absolutely love it. Hey, Friday night footy, 6 p.m. Mount Smart Stadium in New Zealand. It's the Warriors taking on the Bulldogs head-to-head. Warriors $2.55. Bulldogs $1.52. Warriors at the line -4.5, $1.90. Come on, key stats here. Warriors have won their last 3 clashes against the Dogs. Josh Adokar has 4 tries these last 3 games. Kids, mate, back at Mount Smart, the Warriors, they're the value here, surely.
No, I can't see it. I think they're...
Well, you just reckon they're not going good enough. They're going...
Oh, look, Matt, you know what? I think the Bulldogs... as the years got on, they've started to improve. You know, Matt Burton coming out of his first Origin series has obviously gone back to the club with plenty of confidence. Addo-Carr didn't get picked for Origin, but has really kicked during that rep period and making a real statement. And I think they're just playing with a lot more confidence and cohesion than certainly what they were at the start of the year. So I think they'll take plenty of that confidence into this game at Mount Smart, which is away, you know, overseas. But again, I just like the combination between Matt Burton and Addo-Carr. They look like they're playing some long shape, and then Matt Burton's just putting it on the left foot, and the Fox is just flying after it, and they're having some success with it. So it looks like they're playing with a bit of belief.
Right, I'm just going to have a sneaky, just a tiny little bet on the Warriors, mate. I'll just back on the home deck for mine. I reckon they're going to be up and about. Hey, doubleheader, of course. Eels taking on the Rabbits. This is going to be a beauty too. 7.55 at CommBank Stadium. Head-to-head, Eels $2.35. Rabbits $1.60. At the line, the Rabbits -3.5 at $1.90. The key stats here, all thanks to Palmer Bet, kids. Rabbitohs won their round 16 clash 30-12. Strike power on the wings. Eels' Mako Sivo has 8 tries his last 5 games, and South's Alex Johnson has 7 tries in his last 5 games. I reckon this is going to be a ripping game.
Yeah, ripping game. Again, a tough one to pick. You know, Jai Arrow, Cam Murray. Yeah, they are. And they sort of, geez, they went through some question marks, you know, not long into the year. They had a pretty tough period. They weren't playing with a lot of confidence, and they looked frustrated. Cody Walker looked like frustrated on the field, but I think, again, since that rep period's been over, Damien Cook's come back and he's looking sharp out of dummy half. Jai Arrow and Cam Murray look like they're playing some great footy. Latrell's obviously spent his time overseas rehabbing his hemi and has had a huge influence on his return. So it's a tough one to go against the Rabbits, but I might just look for a little upset here and go with the Eels back at CommBank Stadium, coming off a good win.
Yeah, and they're good value, $2.35 head-to-head.
$2.35. And look, if we need to, we've got to start seeing, back-to-back performances from the Eels if they're a genuine contender for the semi-finals and going into the top four.
Here's your match of the round, mate. Roosters v Cowboys, Saturday, 3 p.m. at the SCG. Big crowd expected to. Roosters $1.74 head-to-head. Cowboys at $2.10. That is unbelievable on ladder positions. Roosters at the line -2.5, $1.90. Key stats, Roosters won their round 4 clash 28-4. Cowboys have won 7 of their last 8. Roosters have won 4 straight. It sets up for an absolute epic contest. I reckon the odds should be the other way around. That's my take.
The Palmer bet boys have got this mixed up. Surely, Matty. Here, the Cowboys are in 32 points, second position. The Roosters are on 8, now on 24 points.
How do they work that? Yeah, how do they work that out?
Look, when I looked at the team sheet and I looked at the Roosters and what they've done over the last few weeks, and psychologically, I was thinking these guys will be favourites here. But I mean, really, look at the table. How can they possibly be favourites? But I just think they're playing with some real form and belief. They've probably got the nucleus of their team back on the park at the moment, and they're playing some good footy. So it's a hard one to sort of tip against the Cowboys. That's for sure. I don't know. I just feel like the Roosters have got this one. SCG,
I reckon
Saturday afternoon, but
jump on as quick as you can, because I don't reckon $2.10 for the Cowboys will be on offer come Saturday. So I reckon I'm with you, Gids. I reckon it's half a little mistake here from the boys at Palmer.
I mean,
make the most.
And their attack's been awesome this year. The Cowboys, and they're defending well, and Todd Payton's got him playing the right style that he's been after the last couple of years. So I'd snap those odds up with the Cowboys at the moment.
Yeah, snap it up for sure. Tigers taking on the Sharks, 5:30 p.m. Scully Park in Tamworth. The Boot Scooters will be out head-to-head. Tigers $4, Sharks $1.25. At the line, the Sharks -12.5, $1.90. Key stats here, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Sharks won their round 5 clash 30-4. Sharks have won 7 of their last 8 games. They are in sensational nick, and they will get the job done here, Gids.
For sure. Great to see a game at Scully Park. I know the Tigers regularly take a home game out there each year. It's a great regional ground, and I'll tell you what, the locals, not just in Tamworth, but the surrounding areas, they love an NRL game out at Scully Park. So great to see them taking the game out there. I can't get on the Sharks enough for this one. On the back of last week's loss, probably shock loss to the Knights. They come pretty close at the end of the Tigers, but couldn't get there. And I think that she's a Sharks 13+ job, this one.
Yep, I like the Sharks too, mate. They're just doing everything right at the moment. Broncos taking on the Knights, Saturday, 7:35 p.m, Suncorp Stadium. Head-to-head, Broncos at $1.15. Knights at $5.50. Broncos at the line, -16.5, $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Broncos won their round 11 clash 36-12. Was a smashing that night. And the Knights are really struggling for points at the moment. No more than 14 points in their last 4 games, Gids. Where can they get some attacking fewer, a bit of attacking action, do you reckon?
Oh, jeez.
Apart from bringing big Chief Harrigan and you out of retirement, mate, where can they get it from?
Yeah, I tell you what, I trained with the big Chief out this morning, and he's still looking in fine shape. He's just come back from a little trip up Queensland. He looks bronzed up. He looks big and fit. So, mate,
doesn't a tan make you look fit, kids? Doesn't it? Makes you look.
I'm going to get one. I'm going to get a spray tan, I think. But, mate, the Knights, David Clement back in this week. I just thought the Knights' intent defensively last week. Daniel Jacobs, Safudi, Mitch Barnett, some great defence with his intent. Unfortunately, Barney out this week, and Jake Clifford's broke his arm. So they've had some pretty ordinary injuries woes this year. I find it hard to go past the Broncos, have a go at the team they've named, and they're playing with plenty of belief, and they're really consistent. I know they got done last week, but they're having a pretty good year. It's going to be tough to back against the Broncos on this one.
Last roll of the dice here for the
Raiders. My head.
For the Raiders for mine here, mate. They're taking on the Dragons Sunday, 2 p.m. GIO Stadium head-to-head. Raiders $1.54. Dragons at $2.50. All thanks to Palmer Bet. The line, the Raiders -5.5 at $1.90. Key stats, Dragons won their round 16 clash 12-10. Close one. Dragons without Tarek Sims for the remainder of the season, of course, through suspension. Dragons need a win to stay in finals contention. But honestly, the Raiders have got more on the line here. They're the team that are really pressing, and if they lose here, Gids, I reckon it could be season over.
Could be the red pen after this week if they lose, but they've got everything to play for here. The Raiders, they're 2 points out of the 8, and they're breathing down the Roosters' neck at the moment. A lot of controversy around Ricky's comments during that press conference last week. I don't know if you've seen it, Matty, that spoke pretty look, he got his words wrong. He openly apologised and said he shouldn't have said what he said in that press conference. But, I think that can really galvanise the team. I've been coached under Ricky Stewart. I personally loved his passion in the team room and video sessions. And, I think that actually can really galvanise the team. I think the Raiders are special here.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I reckon they're an absolute Monty as well. Hey, Titans taking on the Sea Eagles Sunday, 4:05 p.m. Seabar Super Stadium. Titans $2.75. Sea Eagles at $1.45 at the line. The Sea Eagles -6.5 at $1.90. Key stats: Manly won their round 6 clash 26-18. Manly need a win to stay in finals contention as well. Titans for me, Gids, they have been just really, really disappointing, haven't they?
Really disappointing. Yeah, big underachievers this year after getting into the top 8 last year. So, season's well and truly gone for the Titans. But did the Sea Eagles have a chance? Well, I suppose if you're within the 4 walls of the dressing room at Manly at the moment, and the 3 games they've got left, they will still be believing in something at the moment. So, they got a fair bit to play for as well. I think it's a real touch up from the Sea Eagles on this one. They're 13+.
Righto, kids. What's your best of the weekend, mate? Are you going to go back to the Cowboys head to head?
Yeah, I think I am. I took that one down. I just jumped on the Palmer Bet app there, which is so easy to access and tap into. Mate, unbelievably easy. I just look for the little footy. Just tap the little footy, and up comes the NRL. All Super League as well too. So have a look at those ones. But mate, best value for me: Cowboys 1-12, $3.50.
Oh, beautiful.
They're not sitting number 2 on the ladder for no reason. And 1-12 against the Roosters, I think it's going to be a tight game of the round for me. And if they're going to win, I think it's going to be a close one. $3.50.
Any value, mate? Anywhere else, do you think? Anything in a bit of a price?
Mate, Manly, I just mentioned Manly 13+. That's $2.45 at the moment. And given the Titans' year defensively and their attack, I think, and with what the Sea Eagles still potentially have to play for, I think it's a convincing win by Eagles 13+. So, bit of value there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Hey, listen, we are getting down to the business end of the season. Right now, it is going to be a really big climax, I reckon, because there's so many positions in that top 8 that can change over the next couple of weeks, and so much with a fair bit on the line. So it is going to be a ripping little finish. And I must admit, kids, I'm looking forward to the final series. I reckon it's going to be an absolute belter.
Yeah, man, I reckon there's a fair bit to play out over these next, just this next week, but certainly the next 2 weeks in that, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th sort of spot on the table. Everyone's fighting pretty hard to get away from, that 7th, 8th, 9th spot. So it's an interesting couple of weeks. Also, mate, we're just having a chat there after having a little session with some of my ex-teammates in the new stadium. The Sydney Footy Stadium's about to, I think, reopen for the Rabbitohs Roosters game. I think it's next week or potentially the following week. Not sure.
How exciting that.
Mate, I'm looking forward to seeing that one, and potentially might even try and get myself down for a semi-final game. I mean, that was one of the real highlights as a player is playing at new stadiums, and the the Combank Stadium, Parramatta one's an amazing new stadium. The Optus Stadium in Perth is an amazing one, brand new, or pretty new these days, but certainly this one that's going to be rolled out at Moore Park. Sydney Footy Stadium is what I always remember it as. Allianz Park, I think it is now. Will be something special.
What's your favourite stadium, all-time stadium to play in, Gids?
And I played at Old Trafford, Manchester United's home ground in England when I was
small,
there.
the small end zone and the small try zone and that.
Super small end zone that was. But just, I mean, I'd done a tour of that stadium in 1995 as a young kid. So to play there in 2016, from a kid there touring there in 95, it was a weird moment.
And the atmosphere at that Old Trafford and that, you can't bottle it, can you? It's something special, mate, isn't it? Like they just love their soccer, they love their league. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, playing. Sydney Footy Stadium was awesome. They had some great games there. ANZ Stadium or Homebush, it was at that stage when it was Origin games. Suncorp in Brisbane when most of the fans were booing and Legionnaire and all that sort of thing was pretty special. So
how could they boo you, mate?
They're great memories.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, listen, mate, going to be a fantastic week, of course. Like, share, subscribe, get involved, gamble responsibly, all thanks to the team at Palmerbet. That is the key message, as it always is. But get involved is really, really simple, and hopefully we've led you into a winner or two this weekend. Kids, going to be a fantastic week, mate.
Yep, all the best, buddy. Good luck, everyone.